Ah, bollocks.
Okay guys, welcome to part 2 of how the hell did he manage that? Now this is sort of another new series that I've just recently started, whereby I see a video game and basically what it's actually doing just blows my mind. And as I've said before, it doesn't have to be a particularly good game, but it's just doing something that just is incredible. Now, this video, as you can probably tell, it's Asteroids. This actually came about, I did a video on Monday looking at some classic arcade conversions for the C64, and one of my mates, Mayhem, he actually pointed me in the direction of a particular game for the C64. Now, this is, as you can see there, this is Arcade Asteroids. It's a classic game, released, as you can see down the bottom there, in 1979 by Atari. Very iconic, obviously utilised the vector graphic system. Lovely, bright, glowy looking graphics. I mean, MAME does not do it justice. That's one thing about MAME, it does a good attempt, but you can never replicate vector graphics on a CRT or LCD TV. It's just not possible. But yeah, this is a great game. I mean, I did play it. I think I used to have it in the rugby club where I used to play, and my dad was a member of. I used to go down there and play it. Could never last very long. Now, I was actually using a joystick to play in here, so that's why I'm pretty rubbish. I'm actually not too bad at the game. When I say I'm not bad, I can maybe get to about 20,000 or something like that. But this was a game excuse me, which to my mind was never actually converted to the 8-bit machines. I mean, there were versions that were released, but none were very good. Now, I featured in my C64 arcade look-at thing a few weeks ago the only version of Asteroids that I could find, and it was released by Firebird Software, and it was on a compilation. It was actually a budget compilation. It came with, what was it, Snake, the Space Invaders, and some other game, Lunar Lander or something, I can't remember exactly what it was, but it did feature a game of Asteroids, and it wasn't bad. But what I did say was, it played too fast, and it was alright. But anyway, yes, so I didn't think that there was any such release of Asteroids on the C64. That's what I thought, until Matt kindly pointed me in the direction of a rather clever bit of software, which is just about to come up in a few seconds. You can see that I've got arcade written at the bottom, just so you know exactly what version we're looking at. So let's move across to the C64 one. Here we go. Yep, your eyes are not deceiving you. This is Asteroids running on the Commodore 64. Now, it's not a port, it's actually an emulated version. Now, there's a rather clever guy, is it Norbert or something he's called? I'm going to put a link below. He has very cleverly got the arcade version of Asteroids running on a humble Commodore 64. Now, we're not talking about an expanded C64 or anything like that, we're talking about a bog standard breadwin C64. Now, I am playing this in an emulator because it's a lot easier to record it. Now, you can see here it absolutely looks like the arcade. The sound is arcade. Now, again, I was actually using the joystick to control this. I don't think you can play the keys, unfortunately, in this version, because Asteroids is definitely a keyboard game, or a button game I should say. So I was using the joystick for this, and I've got to say, apart from it being a bit on the slow side, it absolutely feels like Asteroids. I mean, I'm sure if I was to put a video up of this game and, without any title, and says, can somebody please name this game and what system it's running on, I'm quite sure quite a lot of people would say Asteroids, Arcade Asteroids. And you wouldn't be wrong, because it is emulating arcade boards, but how the hell somebody can get an emulator to run on a Commodore 64 is just beyond me. It just makes you wonder, if they can port a game like Asteroids on a C64, what else can you do? Seriously, there must be other games out there. I mean, this is all in 64k of memory, probably not even that, because obviously the actual you know, there's certain amounts of sort of video memory and that kind of thing used, but yeah, it's just awesome. Now what I did do, which is coming up, this is running at 100% speed. You can see it does slow quite a bit, especially when there's a lot on the screen. What I did do for the last sort of 10 seconds of this video, through the wonders of emulation, you can actually change the speed of which the system runs at. So I thought it'd be interesting just to see what it's like if I ramp the speed up to, I think it's 150 I put it to, which you should see very soon. There we go, yep, let's see, custom, then I put it to 150 now. Here we go, you'll get 10 seconds off it. Now right away you'll notice the sound is a wee bit off, but the actual speed of the game feels that wee bit better. Now, not content with porting it to the C64, he's only gone and ported it to the Atari 800. Mind blown. Now I've got to say, this again, this version, it's joystick only. I've got to say, this is mind blowing. It really is. This runs almost as good as the arcade one, I would say. I mean, seriously, just take a look. Just take a look at what we're looking at here and try and get your head around. This is not MAME. It's not an arcade game. It is an Atari 800. This is running on a piece of software which came out 1978. We're talking late 1970s hardware, and here it is running an arcade game which came out probably a couple of years after the Atari 800 was even released. This is just mental. Now I've got to say, there's something really fantastic. Atari's own game is actually running really nice on their own system. There's just something that's really right about that. You know, but yeah, the fact that an arcade game that came out 2 years later, or you know, I'm guessing 2 years after the Atari 800 came out, the computer's actually running it really well. I mean, the sound's spot on. One thing you'll notice, you'll probably think the graphics look a wee bit kinda sort of cramped, you know, the little spaceship looks a wee bit blocky. Now it was probably because I was running it in quite a small window when I was recording this, so it probably doesn't look as good as it would be if you're actually expanding the window or even playing it on a proper Atari 800. But yeah, I just think there's something fantastic about Atari's classic Asteroids. It's actually running a treat on its very own hardware. Just mind blowing. You know, can you imagine getting this back in 1978? What you wouldn't get in 1978 because the actual arcade game hadn't even been written at that point. But it just goes to show, I mean, it's incredible what some of these guys are actually doing with hardware. I love old systems, and I love even more seeing people now manipulating the original hardware and getting it to do stuff that it shouldn't. I mean, classic programmer for that is Mr. Jim Bagley, good friend of mine. He's just awesome. The stuff that he does is mind blowing, and he's currently working on the new Spectrum, so watch this space. Anyway, back to Atari 800. Yeah, this is just a fantastic version. So what I've done here is, just to finish off, I've actually put all three versions on the screen at once, just to kind of let you see them running side by side. So this is the Atari 800. Right, okay, there we go. Now it's a cacophony of noise. they're all fighting for their own sound. Obviously at the top left you've got the Commodore 64, that's running at kind of normal speed there. Below that you've got the Atari 800, and then on the right hand side you've got the arcade one. Now you look at these and tell me that the two home computer ones are not impressive. Now there is actually another game that this Norbert's ported. Is it Galaga, I think it is? I don't know if that's an arcade one, I'm not too sure. I'll need to take a look, because I love stuff like this, I really do. I think it just blows my mind what is possible. What's interesting on the C64 one, I mean, the C64 is you know, it's always had a bad reputation for having expanded sprites which look extremely blocky. Well, I don't know if I'm using some, is there a kind of higher resolution or something that's utilising here, because it's certainly, the graphics don't look blocky on it one little bit. Got to say, I love the fact it's even got the little Atari incorporated, you know, name at the bottom of all of them. Unfortunately, where the wee Atari 800-bit that I've put across is actually kind of covering it slightly. You're not able to actually move it. But yeah, just absolutely extraordinary, I should say. It's getting late, it's 10 to 12 and I should be in my bed. So anyway guys, listen, that is it. I hope you've enjoyed watching this wee video. Just when I actually tried the Asteroids on the C64 today, I thought I've got to get a video out for this. So as usual guys, I hope you enjoyed watching it. Please feel free to like, comment and subscribe. And finally, thank you so much for watching.